So, welcome back to the channel. This is an update. It's been a while since I made any videos. And to be honest, for good reason. I'm very disappointed. I'm really disappointed because things didn't work out the way I wanted it to. There were many things I did wrong. And it's some of the challenges of trying to raise Bettas, in the hundreds, as opposed to just 50 or 60 of them. Also, there's quite some challenges to deal with when you're trying to raise them outside, as opposed to in a very controlled environment. It's crazy, but I have had more success raising Bettas inside a garage than out here in my backyard this summer. So that's why I didn't make any videos lately, because I was very discouraged. Like I didn't think that, since I didn't accomplish what I was hoping to accomplish, or at least not fully, I wasn't even making videos. And then to my surprise, I come back from a four-day vacation recently. And then I saw I had a lot of messages and comments on the channel and people asking questions and whatnot. And I had like almost 500 subscribers. So, I got motivated. I got really motivated, and I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to just move forward and just prepare better for next summer, spring, summer, because right now in Texas it's freaking cold, and there's nothing that there's really not much that I can do. But regardless, though, we're gonna talk about all the things that I did wrong and why I don't have, or what I couldn't get 500 fish like I was hoping I was gonna get. So this is what's happening right now. I got some fries in there. They're not very big. I got bigger ones. These are females. These are gonna be the females. I'm gonna be breeding and pairing up with males in March, more or less. So these are just about 2 months old. We're gonna give them more time. I got males here. There's only about 10 of them. These are also gonna be the males that I'm gonna be breeding with those females in March. Then I got also here, well, these are bigger. So these are small, but these are already bigger. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 12 males in there. And so the plan is to just grow them up in here in the greenhouse until about March. And once they're fully grown adults, I'm gonna set them up for breeding. And then so here I have some of the fries from that super black male that unfortunately he died on me. That super black died on me just yesterday. So yesterday I came back from being away for 4 days, and it's the most strange thing here in Texas. The temperature dropped to like 35 degrees, and it's the greenhouse and everything, but still, it's just too cold. And as you can see here, the water in these buckets are not to the top, they're like halfway. But unfortunately, I realized when I came here this morning that the male, that black male that was here in another bucket, and another red dragon that I had over there in a corner, their container had just too much water. And so what happens is when it's super cold, you need to lower the level of the water. So when you get some sunshine, it heats up the water more, and it maintains the temperature more throughout the day. It keeps it warmer throughout the day into the night, so they don't suffer as much, when it gets like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, right? But they're having the container with too much water. It's just, they didn't make it. And unfortunately, I wasn't here. I left over the weekend. I I came back, and you know, last night I didn't think to come out here just to see, you know. I thought, you know, it's just too late at night. I'm not gonna go check. And I mean, I don't know what I was thinking, but I lost that super black. It was my most you know, favorite fish. Actually, I had this container here that I had set up with water because I was gonna breed that super black again with another female, and then I was gonna raise the fish in my garage like I've done in the past. Just that one breeding throughout the winter, just one. It's gonna take a while for the fries to grow, but I was okay with that because, you know, it's like December, January, February, March. In 4 months, I will take them out here and put them in the white buckets. So that's what I was gonna do. Today, when I came back and I found him, you know, in the bucket at the bottom. I mean, I was really sad. I was really sad. I had that fish for a while, you know. It wasn't old or anything. It's just, it was the temperature. And the most strange thing is that all these other buckets, these are juveniles, right? They're only about 3 months, and they all made it. It was only the 2 fully grown, about a year old males, the super black and the red dragon. I had the red dragon in the corner, the super black over here. They both didn't make it from last night, but the rest did. So that was very strange, and I have to think that it was, like I said, because the water level, you know. So, but anyways, that's just, I just wanted to put that out there because I know that, you know, that video that I did about the super black with the koi female did very well. People like it. People say it was a beautiful fish. So I just wanted to put that out there, that unfortunately, you know, I even have a heater here that I turn on, and then I cover the buckets because these tanks have heater, right? But obviously I cannot put a heater in every single bucket. So I have this heater here. I covered this up with a blanket, and they're always fine. But I didn't do that when I got home last night because I thought that they were going to be fine. But then the temperature dropped to like 35 degrees. So very expensive lesson learned. But anyways, now, what was it that went wrong with growing fish outside? And what are the things that I would advise people if they're trying to grow betta fish outside? You know, unfortunately, in United States, we get a lot of cold temperatures, you know. So obviously, if you're raising fish outside and you don't have like a big heater to keep the temperature warm inside the house, greenhouse, whatever you have, well, that's going to be a challenge, right? But besides that, that's not in the winter. But to me, a couple of mistakes I've made throughout the summer where I, time and time again, I mean, for example, that super black male betta fish, I tried breeding that fish 3 times, right? I also had some beautiful kois that I tried breeding, and there was failure after failure. I mean, not the breeding process. Every time I set a pair of female and male betta for breeding, I would get 200 fries, 250 fries. I mean, very successful breeding, right? I would put 250 fries here, 250 there, 250 there, 250 there, 250 there. You get the idea, right? All these gray containers were there just to raise bettas. That's all. And at any given time, I had like 700 of them. And I thought to myself, okay, that's enough. I'm not going to breed anymore. It's July. I'm going to wait it out and grow them up. And then I will come back 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and I'm checking on the fish constantly. You know, the fries are very, very small, right? The size of an ant when they're born. And I'll just see them disappear. They just freaking disappear from the container. Like I would just pulling my hairs, trying to figure out what the hell is happening here. So that's what I would waste so much time. You only got like 4 good months, 5 good months in Texas of good summer before it gets really cold again. Um, and but then again, it takes like 4 months for a betta fish to fully grow. 5 months sometimes, right? Um, but so they were disappearing from the containers. Like I remember there was one time in this one container I put nearly 300 fish in there, and when I came back there was only like 5, like within 3-4 weeks there were just 5. I'm like, I was just pulling my hair. And then I asked a question to this guy from Argentina that I have watched many of his videos for many years. I've learned a good deal from him about raising bettas. You see, I wanted to do everything in my power to try to raise the bettas properly, to have the water clean, naturally, using plants, using snails, a natural process without having to use chemicals in the water and all that stuff, right? So what happened was, and I didn't know this, but now I know, if you guys are aware of what miracle snails are, those big yellow snails that you find at Petco, PetSmart, whatever, right? They're great to eat all the junk and garbage and gunk that's at the bottom of the tank when your fish are big, right? When your fish are swimming and big like that, you throw a couple of the snails in there, it's great. They're gonna eat all the dead matter, leftover food. They're great for that. But they are terrible for fries, and I didn't know that. Okay, so when fries are born, they tend to stay towards the edges of the container wherever you put them, right? And so what happens is that the freaking mystery snails, no miracle snail, mystery snails, they have the big antennas, so they're always going around, right? They don't swim, they're just sweeping at the bottom of the tank, going around the walls of the tank. So what happened was the freaking snails were going around the bottom of the tank, eating whatever amount of fries that would stay. And then fries, obviously, if you don't know, fries tend to stay at the bottom of the tank when they're very little. They're always down there looking for food and whatnot, right? Or they tend to stay closer to the walls. And so the mystery snails were just going with their big ass antennas and opening their mouth and just eating all the fries, man. I mean, for 2 months, my fries were just disappearing. Like I think I set up nearly 10 times. I set up a pair of male and female for breeding, would put them in these containers, and within weeks they were all gone. All of them. And I just couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing wrong. I thought the lizards, I had a lot of lizards because this is a backyard, right? There's the freaking woods back there. So there were lizards all over the place, right? There were lizards all over the place. And I was thinking, holy crap, the lizards are getting in the containers and somehow they're eating all the fries and then somehow they're managing to get out. But that couldn't have been it because, lizards really, they struggle to come up from out of the water, That's one thing. If you throw a lizard in there, they're going to survive, but they're going to struggle getting out of the water. Eventually, they're going to drown. But anyways, so that's what happened. The freaking mystery snails were eating all my fries. Once I realized that, I asked that guy a question about, I asked him what would be the best type of snails for cleaning up tanks, like I was raising fries. And he said, well, you have to find this other type of snails because if you're raising fries, the mystery snails are just going to eat all your fries. And I was like, no fucking way, man. That's what was happening to all my freaking fries. I mean, I didn't know that, for as many times that I have raised fries in the past, I've always done it inside my garage. I never really intended, never used snails before, or not intentionally anyway. Sometimes I would get snails but because I would get plants, and then usually plants come with snails and they'll grow in the tank, and it was always fine, not complaints. But I just intentionally went out of my way to buy mystery snails because they're pretty and they're big, and they're gonna eat a lot of the dead food that the fries. Because that was my intention. I thought, fries sometimes you overfeed because they're so tiny, and so they won't eat everything. Let me put snails in there, so the snails would eat all the dead and over all the food that's at the bottom of the container. And instead they were eating all the freaking fries. So that was my first mistake. My second mistake was, I thought to myself, okay, how can I make this easier for me? I'm gonna have a lot of fries. What can I do in order to not have to struggle as much feeding them, right? And so I thought to myself, well, live Daphnia. Live Daphnia is great. They multiply quick. If you have, for example, a little bit of green water like that, you throw some Daphnia in there, the baby fries won't be able to eat the bigger Daphnia because they're too small. So that Daphnia is going to multiply, and then so the fries will be able to eat the newly born Daphnia. So that was the plan, and that should have worked just fine. Here's what happened. The fries are too small. They're very fragile. It came to a point sometimes where they just weren't eating the Daphnia, because I was also feeding them microworms and brine shrimp, newly born brine shrimp. And so the Daphnia started multiplying in all the tanks because of the sunlight, lots of sunlight in the summer, lots of green water, green algae in the tanks. So they started multiplying, and they'll just, what I believe is that they were just bumping into the fries, somehow affecting their swimming, and they'll just end up drowning, falling to the bottom of the tank, staying there, and simply not making it. That was another issue I had, where the fries were just dying on me. When it wasn't the freaking mystery snails eating all the fries, it was just having the Daphnia multiplying way faster than the fries could eat the newborn Daphnia, and I believe that was the cause of them dying. Also, another issue is that because in Texas in the summer is freaking hot, the water gets quite hot as well. And so you have 250 fries fighting with the Daphnia that was multiplying in the tank for oxygen, right? Bettas take a little while. I don't remember now, but it takes a little while to develop all their internal organs to be able to breathe underwater and outside the water. But initially, they're just breathing in the water. And so the Daphnia also needs lots of oxygen or they die. And so having too much Daphnia multiplying in these tanks with 250, 300 fries in there made it for the fries to just suffer and die because of lack of oxygen. And I know that's a reason why, because inside my garage, I successfully grew nearly 300 fries a couple years ago with Daphnia, with the same process, but the difference was I had this, always providing oxygen, always providing oxygen in the water, like so. And because of that, the fries were never dying on me. Same thing. The only difference, again, the only difference from my garage to out here was not having enough oxygen in the water when it was freaking hot inside this greenhouse. Because again, it's not like I needed the greenhouse to protect the fish from the from anything. It's just that I wanted to protect the fish from water, from rain. So that's why I put the greenhouse here. But it also meant that it kept everything here super, super hot, and a lack of oxygen in the water. So that was two terrible mistakes I made, and why my plants of having as many as nearly 600 fish comes August, October, fail, because the mystery snails were eating them. The Daphnia multiplying in the tanks was affecting the growth and the oxygen in the water. Also, water changes. I needed to do a lot of water changes, very, very much, lots of water changes because of the heat. Constantly heat, strong heat in the water will make the water too warm. So the water will go bad very quickly, especially with overfeeding, which that's what I wanted to use the mystery snails for. So that was pretty much why I wasn't having really much success. It's unbelievable. Like, I would set up everything perfect. When it came to setting up breeding, I will always get, I breed my fish in these buckets. I will always get 200 of them, 150. It was unbelievable. A couple hundred of them. I did that nearly, I think it was 7 times, or yeah, about 7 times I did that. I set up fish for breeding nearly 7 times. But the first the first few times were terrible because of all the mistakes I made trying to raise the fish in the manner that I was doing it. So that's why I wasn't uploading any videos with updates about the fish growing and all that, because every couple of weeks or every 3 weeks I would just see fish just disappear on me, and so that's what happened. But it's all good. I'm gonna start everything again. I'm gonna have, which I already have, I'm gonna have heaters in these containers to keep these fish healthy, oxygen in the water. I have water here to replenish the water. I don't have much fish right now. I was able to grow some fish. I think I sold about 100 of them, and by selling I mean almost giving them away. Like $10 a fish is really nothing, but at the very least, I got a little bit of money out of everything, out of all the effort that but that's nowhere near of what I was intending to do. Compared to my intention was to have like 500-600 fish, right? But anyways, this is the ones I got left. There's like 12 of them in here. It's gotten dark as I'm making this video very quickly, so I won't be able to really show you anything now because it's hard to see. But tomorrow I might just do a short clip showing what I've got here. But anyways, that's what's happening with the channel right now. We're gonna focus on what we got now. We're gonna focus on trying to make this. I think I have in here right now probably maybe 50 between fries and fully grown adults. I think I have maybe 50 fish in here, 50 bettas right now. So I'm gonna protect them as much as I can, take care of them, do all the water changes, do everything throughout the winter. And so these are the fish that we're gonna start with coming, March. Obviously, I'm probably gonna have to go out of my way to buy a couple of females or a couple of bettas or males, because these are all, one way or another, these are all family, sister, brothers, right? Somehow some I'll be able to mix, but depending on the color, I might get two beautiful ones coming from the same father and mother, so I don't want to mix them up. So I might have to go out of my way and buy a couple of females and a couple of males come March, to start the new journey next year. But for now, I'll have a few videos to make of what it's like, keeping you better healthy in winter. That's important. So I'm gonna make some videos about that. But for now, I wanted just to do a full update on what's happening in the channel, and I appreciate, very much all the people that supported the channel. That almost 450 subscribers, I think, or nearly 480, I think it was. Lots of views, so that's really great. That's what gave me the motivation to come up here, make this video, and to just make more videos, and not just about me growing fish, but to help people out and show them all the things that I do wrong, so they don't make mosquito so they don't make the same mistakes I've made, if they ever intend to. If you ever intend to raise bettas, it's not easy. Even when you have really good intentions, even when you think you're doing everything right, you could still make mistakes and sometimes be ignorant. But that's it for now. I'll see you guys in another video.